Did you know that nearly 45% of people claim they've experienced a ghostly encounter at some point? Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, tonight's story is bound to make you question the unknown. Do you believe in ghosts? I used to think ghost stories were merely tales to entertain, but after one particularly chilling night, my perspective shifted dramatically. Let me take you through an experience that still sends shivers down my spine. I had recently inherited an old house from a distant relative. It was a relic from the early 1900s, with creaky wooden floors and a sprawling, unkempt garden. Located on the outskirts of town and surrounded by dense, shadowy woods, the house had an air of neglect and mystery. From the moment I set foot inside, a sense of unease enveloped me. The house felt as if it had its own heartbeat, with every creak and groan echoing through the darkened halls. The silence was almost too loud, broken only by the occasional groan of the house settling or the rustle of wind through the trees. The first night I spent there was unsettling. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. As the days went by, the atmosphere grew even more oppressive. The old grandfather clock in the hallway, which had been stopped for decades, began to chime at odd hours. I found it strange and unnerving, especially since there was no reason for it to start working again. Strange drafts swept through rooms with no open windows, and shadows seemed to move independently of their sources. One evening, as I sat reading a book, I heard faint whispers and footsteps echoing through the halls, despite knowing I was alone. My curiosity and fear were at odds, making every creak and groan seem like a prelude to something sinister. The tension reached its peak one particular night. I was in bed, trying to ignore the unsettling noises that had become a nightly occurrence. Suddenly, the room grew icy cold. I opened my eyes to find a shadowy figure standing at the foot of my bed. It was an indistinct shape, its features obscured by the darkness, but its presence was overwhelmingly real. My heart pounded in my chest, and I tried to move, but my body was paralyzed with fear. The figure seemed to reach out toward me, its form shifting and wavering like mist. I could feel its cold breath against my face, and a profound sense of dread filled the room. The next thing I knew, the figure vanished into thin air, leaving me trembling under the covers. That night changed everything for me. I left the house the next morning, never to return. The encounter forced me to reconsider everything I thought I knew about the paranormal. While I can't definitively prove that what I saw was a ghost, the experience has left an indelible mark on my understanding of the supernatural. Sometimes, the unknown is more real than we'd like to believe. Have you ever had a ghostly encounter or experienced something you couldn't explain? Share your stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. And if you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to check out my other videos for more chilling stories and paranormal adventures.